The day was supposed to be simple. Paper certificates curled at the edges, a cafeteria that smelled faintly of disinfectant and sheet cake. My son wore a shirt with buttons he kept forgetting to fasten. He was proud in the way only children are, quietly glowing, unsure where to put his hands. My parents arrived late, as usual, carrying a glossy gift bag that looked more expensive than necessary. My mother kissed my cheek, missed slightly, laughed it off. My father handed the bag to my son like it was an offering. "For our graduate," he said. "A Lego set. Big box. Complicated enough to signal seriousness." My son's face lit up immediately, the way it always did when he imagined hours of careful building on the living room floor. "Thank you," he said, already lifting the lid. Then he stopped, not slow, not confused, frozen. The noise of the room kept going around him, other kids, parents, chairs scraping, but he went still in a way that made my chest tighten. "Mommy," he said, quietly, "what is this?" I thought maybe a piece had fallen out, a weird part, something sharp. I walked over smiling, already rehearsing reassurance. I looked inside and screamed. It wasn't loud, not the kind of scream people imagine. It was a sound that tore out of me before I had language, before I could stop it. Enough that heads turned, enough that my son flinched. Inside the box, beneath the sealed bags, taped flat against the cardboard, was something that didn't belong anywhere near a child. Small, deliberately hidden, wrapped once, not carefully. I closed the lid and pulled the box to my chest like that could undo what I'd seen. My parents were already talking. "Oh, relax," my mother said too quickly. "You're overreacting." My father frowned, annoyed more than concerned. "It's nothing. You always do this." I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I didn't explain. I took my son's hand and left. At home, he sat at the table swinging his legs, confused more than scared. I told him we'd build something else later. I told him he did nothing wrong. I told him he was safe. I locked myself in the bathroom and shook until my knees hurt. There were moments in my childhood, small, easily dismissed moments, where my parents had crossed lines and laughed when I pulled back, jokes that weren't jokes, accidents, things I had learned to swallow because confronting them never led anywhere good. This felt like all of that, sharpened and aimed at my child. I didn't call them that night. I took photos. I wrote down what I remembered, exactly as it was. I put the box in my trunk and locked the car. The next morning, my mother left a voicemail, cheerful, offended. "You embarrassed us," she said. "We were just trying to do something nice." I didn't respond. Instead, I called a non-emergency line. My voice surprised me, steady, factual, almost detached. I described what I'd found. I answered questions. I followed instructions. They told me someone would be in touch. The waiting was worse than panic. Panic burns hot and then fades. This was cold. Every hour stretched with doubt creeping in at the edges. What if they convinced someone it was a mistake? What if I was told to calm down? What if this was somehow my fault? I kept my son home from his grandparents' house for the first time without inventing an excuse. When he asked why, I said, "Because it's my job to keep you safe." He nodded, accepting it the way children do, trusting without needing details. 48 hours later, I was folding laundry when my phone rang. "There are officers at your parents' residence," the woman said. "We wanted you to know." I sat on the floor and didn't cry. Later, my father called. His voice wasn't angry now. It was thin. "You didn't have to do this," he said. "You've ruined everything." I told him calmly that he'd done that himself. The investigation took months. I won't pretend it resolved cleanly. Some things never do. There were interviews, statements, silences where apologies should have been. My parents don't see my son anymore. Sometimes I miss the idea of them, the version that fit into holidays and photos. But when I watch my child build Lego towers on the rug, fully absorbed, unafraid, I know what I chose. I didn't win, I protected, and that has to be enough.